It's a trap, you walk right into the hate. All over a new king that's face is just replaced. It's all the same, you still be ruled by force. And no matter who it is, they'll still carry on the torch. Just a lie, cheat, steal, half of what you make. Taxation is steps, it's time to vacate the state. Newsflash, all your cash is an IOU. From killers who really do steal from you. Inflation is a weapon used by every nation who says that they're saving the world through lies. That they disguise and pass off as bravery. Well, I got news, debt is slavery. It don't matter who's madder, a new master don't matter. When they both want the same, the state don't play no games. They got you trying to survive and put you on sides and ready to kill each other. That's conquer and divide. It's all for show or for hyper control.
That's deliberately not getting in on the social distancing, boy.
And we're back with another episode of Bones and Tubs. We're here with you on this Tuesday night to give you all the things you want to hear. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about this, a little about that. We got a topic today to talk about with you. That's not COVID related. You know, of course, we want to talk a little bit about COVID before we get started with the topic.
That shit's jumping.
You know, we gave you guys a nice reprieve, I feel like, last week. Supposedly, we're near the top of the curve. Is that what they're telling us? I mean...
Yeah, that's what they say.
You know, I got to tell you, though, anybody that lives in the Ohio Valley, otherwise known... or the Miami Valley, otherwise known as the Sinus Valley...
The Valley of the Sinus.
Might notice in my voice that I'm a little nasally today.
Yeah.
That's because, you know, we live here and allergies are going on.
I feel like our episodes have sounded shitty one way or another since November. Like when I got COVID the first time.
Yeah. So we, we're enduring the allergy season right now, which kind of puts everybody on edge because of the COVID, because you think, oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God. Is it going to spread through the Instagram Live with a podcast feed, perhaps?
I've looked at the symptoms for COVID-19 at least fucking 10 times in the last week.
You're going through it, my dude.
But here's the key, is you got to remember, is the sinus stuff doesn't really happen. It's all lower respiratory.
You got any eye pain?
No. Well, other than the swelling from my sinuses, you know, but they're itchy.
I feel like they're just grasping at straws right now. They're like, man, has he got a big dick? Somebody's like, God fucking damn it, I've got COVID. Fuck.
Shit.
I know I went through that problem. Not really.
But yeah, and then you got, nobody knows what the fuck's going on because you have some people saying, I'm going to mess it up. Hydrochloroquine.
I think you got it right. Hydroxychloroquine.
Works, and then you have this big group that says it doesn't work, and then you have people that have actually had it done to them saying that it works, and then you have countries buying up huge supplies of it, like in India.
Yeah, I heard that there was some sort of an issue with the FDA and Donald Trump talking about.
Well,
the FDA doesn't want to approve it for that use, but you don't have to have them approve it for anything because, first of all, they're a corrupt piece of shit organization, and doctors prescribe things off-label all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
AKA Clomid.
Yeah.
Anyway, but, if it works, it works. Use it.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry, Live. We had to have a conversation that wasn't meant for loudmouth words,
Yeah, but so, with this whole allergy season, I went and bought some Flonase, not a sponsor.
No, I'm not.
And I feel better now. So, obviously, it's an allergy issue. But, you just kind of with all this going on, I get a little freaked out by it. Especially since I started keto for the most part, and fasting, I really haven't gotten sick at all.
Well, that's because
at all.
Germs require cellular glucose. Viruses, I should say.
And so this is the first time I've actually had any kind of symptoms since last September.
You might be the last man alive.
So
this is all done.
It kind of freaks me out a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you haven't, I used to get sick a lot. Now I really don't get sick anymore, but now that I'm having allergy issues, it's freaking me out. So
you make me want to get back on keto.
It's a good time.
You're you're my hero.
I try.
I need a hero.
But now, so
I got an intro here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that everybody, we were going to try to go live on YouTube earlier, but even though the option appeared, it is not possible because we're only at 350 something subscribers. If everybody listening went and subscribed to our YouTube, we would not have a problem with that. YouTube raised the bar on 1,000. If you could help us out, we would appreciate it. Go over to youtube.com/bonesandtubs. Hit us up. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that shit.
Hit that subscribe button.
And that bell. It's very important.
And to the YouTube commenter, because I do read the YouTube comments.
Yeah. What?
Hashtag
not an expert.
Yeah, listen. he went deep into the back catalog. That had to be like year one shit, right?
I remember that episode. I remember doing it.
I mean, like, it was like back in the day. And he was commenting on it. It probably hit in some sort of search term he was looking for.
Kangs related.
Yeah, Kangs related. And wrote this huge, long comment talking about how we acted like we're experts, first of all.
Listen, bitch, do you know that we are in a garage band studio? Do you know we're in, like, beside that wall are 2 vehicles?
Yeah. I have never, ever professed to be any kind of expert. I'm not trying to negate myself here, but... we merely do some due diligence and we look through stuff. When we give you we give you opinion. And I think if I can remember back to that episode, I think I gave a lot of fact and maybe some opinion. I didn't completely discount what you were going for because, mind you, this person was, I believe, in the camp of the Kangs.
The Kangs, the we was Kangs, if you would, and I believe and shit was also in there.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I didn't even bother going through and looking at really what he said in his comments, simply because, like, you are going to, like, when it comes to stuff like that, a lot of times people fall into cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
So, like, they're only going, like, they will believe straight up nonsense for the sake of what they believe in the first place. You know what I mean? So you could tout and say whatever the fuck you want. That doesn't mean
all your friends are going to just reaffirm that nonsense theory.
But I just had to get that out there. I do read the comments.
We're going to go ahead and say that we read the comments and we're not experts. We're just, listen, lick our asses. We're doing the best we can. You know, it's July. We're wearing a fucking rain slicker.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing the best we can, though.
Yeah.
We want to genuinely give you a thank you. All of our Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/bonesandtubs. You've given us everything you see before you.
Yeah. We got nice equipment. You know, we got stuff. We got things.
Yeah.
You know,
things and stuff. We got, you know, stuff and things.
Yeah.
We're just trying to do the best we can. And we are always going to question everything. That's our logo. Mm-hmm. You know, it's our motto of sorts.
Yeah.
We want to give a huge thank you and a shout out to Blood of the Brave. Check out his music video channel on YouTube, youtube.com/Blood of the Brave. You can also get him on bloodofthebrave.com and SoundCloud.
There you go.
Also on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
He's got the intro and the outro, and some of those are hitters.
Yeah.
Hitters.
Nice.
You know. We are available on all the socials. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Bones and Tubs. Twitter, is at Bones Tubs.
Yeah, Bones Tubs.
We're also on Library, lbry.com, Gab, BitChute, and Pornhub.
Pornhub,
go through our back catalog. You'll find out why we made that oof noise.
Yeah, there's been, Pornhub has not been nice to us.
No, man, they were the bastion of freedom that I hoped for. I'll give a quick story for the new listeners, but
yeah, because here's the thing: like, you think that the website that has almost every legal debauched thing a human being can do on it, you think they would like
and illegal.
Yeah, true. Because they have been caught.
But I ain't no snitch though.
Yeah.
If you got anything else, go ahead. If not,
no, we could go ahead.
The favorite news story. I put yours first.
Yeah, okay.
I put your favorite story of the week first.
Okay.
I changed the title. Mm-hmm. The title is not what you see here before you, but if you go to American Free Press, you'll find the real title. I titled it "Chomos," which is a short for child molesting homosexual in the sky.
Chomos in the sky.
Yeah, Chomos in the sky. Panama City, American Free Press. Panama's Archbishop Jose Domenico Ula took to the skies to deliver the traditional Catholic Palm Sunday blessing for the helicopter.
Okay, listen, you guys got to understand. Like when we we were sitting in the factory the other day, and
the factory of sadness.
We were looking through Drudge Report articles, and we found this one.
We took a break from,
and I almost died. I don't know what it was that tickled me so bad.
No, we both almost lost our minds. I think it's the collective.
But it's the climate right now. We're like, let's look through the news and see if there's anything worthwhile.
Wasn't that the first time we checked the news that day?
Yeah.
Like, we sat there the whole day and took naps and fucking just went ham.
Yeah, this guy, he's a archbishop.
Yeah, the Archbishop Jose Domingo Ulo.
Yeah.
He took to the skies to deliver the traditional Catholic Palm Sunday blessing from a helicopter, dressed like a magician. After the coronavirus pandemic forced the closure of churches across the country, the church is abandoning centuries of tradition and refraining from public celebrations of the official start of the Holy Week among Christian faithful. Ulawa celebrated Mass at Panama Howard's Air Force Base before overflying the city's deserted streets and the surrounding countryside. We looked at the picture. He was, in fact, dressed as a wizard. Dressed as a wizard, and there was an altar boy performing oral gratification.
Oh.
I made that last part up.
So, yeah, like, it's just, it's this, in this world, I think it's such a large combination of things, because, one, I don't take those motherfuckers seriously at all. Right?
You're dressed as a magician, bitch.
Yeah. You're dressed,
get your life together.
You look like a kid's drawing of Merlin. You know what I mean? Like, give me a fucking break. Come on now. Okay.
Get out of here with that shit.
Not only that, you are going to do your benediction from a fucking helicopter.
Well, didn't we just started psychic handball? We were like, what if he went into the fucking ISS? Yeah. Like, imagine how many people that motherfucker could bless if he was above the earth.
Like, here's the thing, man. They're like, yeah. I'm like thinking in my head, like, I feel like, I don't know, like, there were so many elements to it, because I thought it felt like a fuck you. To like, fuck you peasants. Fuck all of you. I don't want your sick asses near me. Here's your fucking benediction.
Right.
Go to
What's
hell.
more insulting, though, because back in the day when plagues happened, like, if you went into a village that was struck with the plague, the priest would be like, you're learning to suffer the way Christ suffered. No. And he'd move on. Like, what's more fucking offensive?
See, I
a helicopter?
Like back then, I would have died. Like, I would have...
You know that faggot.
They would have killed me because I would have been like,
fuck you,
yourself.
bitch.
Fuck yourself, dude.
That faggot was using fucking hand sanitizer in the helicopter. He's like, these sick motherfuckers. Yeah. I can't even deal. By the way, shout out to Hands. Because
mine are
my shit is fucked up.
Yeah, mine are torn up as well.
That's just how gross we are here in the 20th century. When I'm starting to write journal entries that I can give to my grandchildren to tell them about COVID-19. And basically, it's because we didn't wash our fucking hands, and we pay taxes, and we believed in government. Those are the problems.
Yeah.
Those are all the problems that have created the issue that you're dealing with right now.
Yeah. So, like, and it kills me, like, the whole COVID thing is that, like, the solution to COVID-19, when government was, in fact, the reason that it has escalated to the point that it has, governments are responsible for that, correct? But their answer to solve the problem is more government.
Right. Like, the reason why we say government is the issue is because it's a bioweapon.
Like, imagine, if you will, let's hypothetically see this like a nuclear reactor, right?
Yeah. Like Chernobyl, you mean?
Yeah, like, let's say like Chernobyl.
Okay.
And like, they're like, shit, this shit is melting down. We need to
get out of the fucking building.
We need to cool it down, right? What are we gonna do to stop this meltdown? And it's as if they're like being like, you know what?
What if there was more radiation?
We need more uranium. We need more of it right now.
This is a shit show.
Oh, totally.
I have an email in here from a state of Ohio Department of Corrections employee that I'll read you here in a minute. Mm-hmm. That will just go ahead to prove what you just said.
Yeah.
It's government at any level, local, city, state, federal. They're all fucking idiots.
Yeah.
And we give them permission to tell us what we can and can't do. They take our money, they make these goddamn bioweapons, and then they release them. Well, and it's a giant game.
And see, here's the thing, though. When you say they're idiots, right? The thing is I think the key of all that is that they're only as smart as you. right?
Are they though?
But you get what I'm saying though? Like, I mean, amongst the general population,
Right.
There's nothing different about them, right? And we know for a fact that in general, humans are idiots.
They're stupid as fuck.
We're stupid as fuck. Just because we have given them, like, say, like a judge, we gave them fucking, we gave them.
They still wear robes.
We gave them fucking wizard robes, just black wizard robes, and said you get to make judgments of
amongst maritime law. Bitch.
They are not any smarter than the rest of us, but we give them some sort of like fake authority to say like that they hold something over us, and it's like fuck them. It's the same thing with the cops. It's the same thing with anybody else that tells you what to do.
How many times have you seen a judge look at someone like this? Like he's considering, like you already know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You're not smarter than me.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. It's the argument, the anarchists use that I love the most when it comes to any of these authority arguments where it's like, okay, government says you can't do A, B, and C or D because you're a fucking idiot. And all people are idiots. That's why we have to have these rules. So therefore, people have to elect the smartest idiot to run the idiots.
The smartest idiot.
Fuck me. That sounds like a great idea.
I don't even think it's the smartest idiot. Like, I feel like the electable are
the most
like,
charismatic?
Yeah, the most charismatic idiot. Like, they're not even the smartest, man. Cause,
you can't even pin down charismatic in a sentence. Like, what does that even mean?
Like, you think about the smartest people, usually, like, I think, you know what it is? Like, for real, and this could just be waxing poetically. I think the smartest people, like, it's almost as if they're too smart for their own good, and they end up just, like, killing themselves with shit.
Or sending mail bombs from the middle of the woods.
Like, take Kaczynski.
Shout out Theodore Kaczynski. Yeah. Go to Google, and check out Unabomber's Manifesto.
Industrial Society in its future. I don't like calling it the Unabomber Manifesto. I like calling it Industrial Society in its future.
I like yours better.
Yeah. But that's a good example where, like, he was too goddamn smart.
Right. He realized what had to be done, and he did it.
And he just went off the deep end.
Shout out to Big Dick Energy.
And I think the smartest, that's what ends up happening to them, right? Yeah. Or because, like, the levels that they're thinking on, like, it just ends up depressing them because they have nobody to relate to. They can't talk to anybody about, like, the shit that at the level they're on, right?
Not to say that either of us are smart, but how many times have you talked to a coworker and they wanted to bring you down with their sports talk?
And see, the thing is, you have a better way about that. You can, like, still try to, like, generate a conversation even with people. Like, me, on the other hand, I literally will just, like, I'll just clam up and stop talking and go do something else. Like,
you make an angry face and people are like, what's wrong with your dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's cool.
Teach their own.
You should just start just telling people basically be like, what's wrong with him? Be like, whatever the fuck you wanted to talk about, he wanted nothing to do with it.
What if I just shortened it and said he doesn't like you?
Now, I don't want you saying that because just because someone bores me doesn't mean I don't like them. It just means I don't have time
to be bored by you right now.
I have no polish for that shit. Right?
I get it, man. Like, you shouldn't. I mean, if that's not your thing, don't do it. I get it.
I don't know what it was that broke me when it comes to that, but my tolerance level for shit that does not interest me at all is gone.
Very thin.
It's not even thin. It doesn't exist. Like, fuck.
I should deliver this as early as possible. I meant to do this earlier, but if you're here solely for the subject of the podcast title, you should probably skip ahead about 25 minutes because we're just gonna fucking shoot the shit for about 25 minutes.
You know, I'm glad you said that because we should probably put that disclaimer at the beginning of every show.
Let me know when that hits an hour because I'm gonna have to restart the live.
That's cool.
Thank you.
Will. But yeah, so
we got a lot to talk about.
But nah. Okay, so this email that you talked about.
Is it time for that? Or
I don't know. Do we have anything else to talk about other than...
well, we got some things here that are going to help us move into, news stories, and then we can get into the...
Okay, that works.
Regular. So, The news story I have here, shout out Woody fucking Harrelson.
Listen, dude.
Lebanon, Ohio, born.
Yeah.
Local.
Woody Harrelson
is a savage and a boss.
I've loved this dude for a long time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's cool. He smokes lots of weed.
I'm sad to say this, but I did not know about him until, what was the fucking movie he was in where he was obsessed with Twinkies?
Zombieland.
And then I saw a news story about him going to the fucking state house and planting hemp in the ground, and he got arrested. Fucking savage.
Yeah, dude, listen, Woody Harrelson's the shit, man. I think I've loved that dude ever since when I was a kid watching Kingpin. I fucking love that movie, man. It makes me laugh my ass off every time. But Woody Harrelson, I've known him to be a boss for a long time. He doesn't give a fuck.
No, man. And I love his big dick energy because this story here is going to help y'all. We, Mr. Tubbs and myself, Bones and Tubbs, we bounce ideas back and forth constantly.
Yeah.
I would say. Mm-hmm. Sometimes at 3 a.m. Mm-hmm. There is a propaganda piece going around, and I don't know if you're comfortable with calling it that, but that's what I'll call it.
You can call it that.
I'm going to put a chew in. It's making me feel uncomfortable. No. They have this theory going around where doctors or pretended doctors or CIA assets are pretending to be doctors.
Yeah.
Are claiming that viruses are not independent entities that infect you. They're saying that viruses are created from environmental toxins that affect your cells, and your cells create the viruses, and they are the byproduct of the cellular detoxification.
Yeah.
So
I don't.
I like the theory only because it's different than the mainstream.
Yeah.
And our motto, as we said, question everything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't jive with me. It doesn't make sense.
No, because I think we brought it up for the show. I was like, if that were true, I was like, why would certain viruses, like I said, take for example, with HIV or AIDS.
Yeah.
It's HIV. That's the virus, right? That's the name of the virus.
I think so.
Okay. So
shout out. We already said we're not experts. We're not doctors.
By that logic, right? By their logic, that would mean that we all had AIDS or HIV already, right?
Well, it's the byproduct. You don't have it. It's the byproduct of the first time you get a dick in the ass.
Okay, so what they're saying
is maybe the 35th time.
For this case, it's if you get a needle in your arm or a penis in your
butthole,
it triggers the AIDS, the latent AIDS that was already in your system.
Not latent. It's think about it this way. Your cells have a certain function, mm-hmm. and stimuli affect the cell, and the cell hits at a certain time, and they're like, listen, we're like, I watched a lot of videos about it because I was curious like a cat, and that's why they call me Whiskers. But it all has to, like, they're claiming it has to do with the quality of the water in your cells and the health and the amount of toxins, heavy metals, and what have you. Mm-hmm. So if a healthy individual continues to get butt fucked his entire life, but yet he's like constantly just eating fucking wheatgrass and, you know,
he'll never get AIDS,
karma-free meat,
HIV.
Yeah, he'll just get dicked down for the rest of his life, and he'll have to wear diapers because the butthole doesn't. You can't kegel.
Oh, there is a. I have a firm belief that, and I think this is true, that your asshole has an expiration date.
Well, yeah, because it's not a muscle. You can't kegel a butthole.
You know
it's not a puss.
You know how they say that your heart only has like
so many beats.
So many beats.
Yeah.
It's the same principle.
I'm dying soon.
It's the same principle your butthole, but you know what the saddest part is? I'm pretty sure the butthole gives out before the heart does.
Yeah. It has to. It should.
Yeah.
It really should.
It puts in a lot of work.
I mean,
for some
people, it puts in a lot of fucking work. I mean, they're like, you know what would be even better than taking a shit? It would be like taking a shit over and over again. Where the guy's balls slapping your gooch hole.
Oh,
you know?
No. That took a south turn, man.
Here we are.
Okay.
Anyway, we were talking about Woody Harrelson. So anyway, god damn it, man. Fuck. We don't agree with that theory. But there is a middle ground. A middle ground that I'm willing to accept. And
okay,
it is offered by Woody Harrelson. Shout out the movie Zombieland. Yeah. And what did you say, Kingpin?
Yeah, Kingpin. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I titled this story "Woody Harrelson 5G Link to the Woo Flu."
Well, I made that. I'm stepping real quick. I made that Kingpin reference just the other day when you were eating your.
I'm sweaty.
You were eating your lunch with the sardines on it, and I was like, I feel like Bill Murray and Kingpin. I'm like, wanting to tell you, why don't you go finish that outside?
Go outside.
Go outside and finish that.
It smells like a fucking nasty pussy in this room.
Let me take care of this real quick.
Sorry, Live. You had to live through that. But people on the podcast over at Podbean, iTunes, and all the other podcatchers would not have.
They didn't have to hear it.
Thanks for coming straight to us, though. We appreciate you and we love you very much.
Yeah.
Share us with your friends.
Yeah, that took the soul. Feel better now.
Yeah, he's better. He got the demon out.
Yeah.
Talitha Kuma, motherfucker. Hollywood actor Woody Harrelson is suggesting that 5G technology may have potential negative effects on coronavirus victims. It's really hard to say those words together.
Yeah.
The Natural Born Killers star shared a scientific study on Instagram last week, raising questions about the role of 5G radiation may have on exacerbating the severity of the Wuhan coronavirus symptoms. What he meant to say was sweet and sour sickened. That's the picture. Didn't really work out, did it? No. If y'all see it on the live, it's just a giant. It's a cell phone with an X and it's blurry.
It would have been funny if you would have drew like a dick butt on there.
Big old dick butt. Yeah. His friend Camilla sent him this picture. He said, my friend Camilla sent me this picture today. Sent this to me today. Not picture. God damn it. My friend Camilla sends this to me today. Though I haven't fully vetted it, I find it very interesting, Harrelson wrote. These got out of order. Where did they go?
There's that one.
To throw two at a time?
No.
Not so funny now. Funny man. Apparently it only printed those pages.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm going to go on to not read the story because it did not print out.
Yeah.
But he is asserting that unlike the other people that we just made fun of for about 5 minutes, the 5G, which is, in my opinion, I'm also not an expert, but I will say this. I don't think it's safe.
We definitely did a full... Listen, once again, I'm going to say this multiple times on the episode because that comment kind of, it hit me in the wrong place.
Got you right in your butthole.
Yeah, in the bad way.
Shit, he's got the ball of contemplation, everyone.
I'm not an expert, but we did an episode on 5G that I'm very proud of. I've heard a lot of good, positive comments about that one.
Yeah.
And we literally just gave you all of what is known.
Basically, if you go back to that episode, I will give you a rundown, but the radio waves, as far as they go, FM, well, let's say it's 100 yards, right? Mm-hmm. 100 yards per wave. AM, 1,000 yards, You keep going down the pipe. 3G is a shorter wave, and it's the amount of time that it's replicated. Mm-hmm. The more times you're getting hit with this wave. 4G, even more. We've talked about those videos before where they had the seed experiment where you had seeds that were germinating.
Yeah.
You put them next to the Wi-Fi. You put them across the room. The ones next to the Wi-Fi died.
They don't
didn't germinate
They don't
proper.
germinate.
5G is a millimeter wave. You're getting hit with that thing. It's like a machine gun.
It's similar to a microwave.
So for Woody Harrelson to put out the article talking about how this is probably a terrible time and would exacerbate many things is not that far out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I've heard this theory before, and I have to say I like it a lot better than the one we mentioned at the beginning too, and that's that. So when it comes to 5G, the Wuhan virus, or what did you call it? Sweet and
sour sick.
Sweet sour sick. Was already around, right?
Yeah.
And it just so happens that one of the first cities to get like complete and utter 5G coverage. Oh, is it in there?
I have a little bit left. I'm sorry.
Okay. Now go ahead.
It was that giant. Here's what he did. This picture here that I showed everyone that's a giant X was the article.
Oh, okay.
5G may have had on people infected with coronavirus in places where it was rolled out first, such as Wuhan. Mm-hmm. Wuhan was the first city where they actually fully rolled it out. Like, you may have 5G towers in your area, and they may show up on your phone as 5G active, but they have a certain hertz range that I believe we covered in that episode.
Yes, the towers have to be a lot closer together.
Right. They don't have
5G.
They don't have the grid up yet.
Yeah.
Wuhan, they put the grid up, and everybody got fucked.
Yeah.
The question that is being raised here is not whether 5G is responsible for the virus, but rather 5G radiation acting as a VGCC activation may be exacerbating the viral replication or the spread or lethality of the disease, wrote Professor Martin Pall, Pall, who then cited several articles detailing the 5G implementation in Wuhan. Are these findings coincidental, or does 5G have some casual role in exacerbating the coronavirus epidemic? In order to answer the question, we need to determine whether the downstream effect of VGCC activation exacerbate the viral replication, the effects of viral infection, especially those that have roles in the spread of the virus, and also the mechanism by which this coronavirus causes death. Concerns about 5G and coronavirus have swept social media over the last week, prompting some in the UK to burn down 5G towers in America.
They've been burning them all over the place. And I heard about this a couple of weeks ago, where a different professor did a big lecture about it, and he was talking about basically how it breaks down is this virus already existed, right?
Yeah,
but we had some sort of mild immunity to it.
Right.
Where it wasn't as prevalent or strong.
Due to the fact that coronavirus is a family that we've been dealing with for millennia.
But because of 5G, it weakened us to the point where not only was this virus able to thrive in human bodies, it was able to thrive fast enough and strong enough to mutate and create this new strain. And that's what we're dealing with right now. I would say, I don't know for sure, but I would say there's got to be a lot to this, considering the whole Wuhan thing being one of the first cities to be blanketed. I'm going to take a shot in the dark here and say I bet you New York City has a shitload of 5G.
Yeah.
And they're getting hit harder with this. I mean, they're talking about having to bury bodies in the park and shit like that because they simply, like, all the funeral homes are booked up. Fucking, they don't have room for the bodies anymore.
Right.
Right? But look, I will add to that, though, and there is something to be said about the fact that it seems like here lately in New York City that you have nobody dying of regular pneumonia.
Right. They've definitely changed the numbers. We talked about that the other day in person.
It sounds like they're padding it to make it a lot
What was
worse.
the CDC or somebody in an important spot like that had said, if somebody dies of a disease or had a symptom that mirrored COVID, you should just attribute it to COVID. You don't even have to test the corpse.
Yeah.
Like, that was an official statement.
Yeah.
CDC or not. I would like to take this time to remind you that Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. And this is going to help us move into our topic.
Yeah.
The next story, Jeffrey Epstein was accused of sex trafficking young girls on his mysterious private island over 40 years ago. A different millionaire escaped justice in a stunningly similar case. The runaway still cuts across Lake Michigan's North Fox Island. The runway still cuts across Lake Michigan's North Fox Island. Faded like an old scar, the airstrip is the first thing that Francis D. Sheldon built after buying his hideaway. In 1960, the millionaire outbid the state government for the island, shaped like an upside-down teardrop, that hovers 19 miles off the coast of Michigan's Lenau Peninsula. The state offered the owner, an elderly widow, about $3,500. The Detroit Free Press reported Sheldon gave her $20,000.
God damn, he fucking over.
I need to fuck these children.
Yeah,
that's what he said. He wanted to
cancel all my appointments.
If I receive cancel all my fuck, God damn it!
You have to cut the shit out of that one,
Chrissy. I need you to cancel all my appointments and shit. I'm gonna be back in the safe behind my desk getting my Jimmy sucked on. I swear to them motherfuckers and shit. Tell these motherfuckers working for me that they gotta wear paper on their faces. All y'all get a notebook, rip out a piece of paper and put that Jimmy on your face and suck that motherfucker. Oh, this is where we're at.
I just
after this story, I'm gonna read the email.
But that whole thing that you just said,
yeah.
I think you're gonna have to take that out.
No, that's staying.
Oh my god!
I took out the last name. It's cool.
Okay, yeah, just take out the name.
Listen, bro, fire me, because right now the federal government said that if you file for unemployment, you get it.
Yeah. Just take out the names, and I think we'll be okay.
I will just reverse them. Oh, God. He wanted isolation, and he got it. The 3,000-foot stretch of green was where Sheldon, a former Michigan Air National Guard airman, would touch down his private plane. It's also where the young campers would arrive in the summer. Before they were raped mercilessly. I'm sorry, I made that up. Ushered into cottages concealed by beech and elm trees before survivors say they became stuck in a spider's web of sexual abuse and child pornography. Michigan State Police responded to Business Insider's records request on Sheldon with a statement saying that a search of Michigan's criminal history... God damn my printer. This is why you should take us with a grain of salt. We want you to know everything. We will give you the topics, but we are not great at research. At least I'm not. That you provided, but a review of Michigan State Police reports from the 1970s on the case of North Fox Island point to an operation built on manipulation, deception, and coercion. Read more at Jeffrey Epstein's Famous Connections. And I can't give you the link because it's on my paper.
Yeah.
And this is not The House of Leaves. Check that book out, by the way. It's on Amazon. Not a sponsor.
Yeah.
The story of the financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who was accused of sexually abusing and trafficking minors, erupted in the news this year. And internet sleuths say the case of Sheldon and Lake Michigan's North Fox Island bears an uncanny resemblance to today's scandal. Both center on allegations and secretive millionaires weaponize their philanthropic giving, cliques of connected friends, and private island paradises to prey on young victims and escape justice. Like Sheldon, Epstein was a millionaire, a philanthropist, and a man of powerful friends. And neither stood trial for their crimes, for which he was accused. After accusations surfaced about the goings-on of North Fox Island, Sheldon disappeared. Some say the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Saw that in a documentary. Mm-hmm. Beginning in 2008, Epstein served 13 months of an 18-month sentence after signing a non-prosecution agreement related to federal criminal charges which accusers and critics alike described as a sweetheart deal. This year, on August 10th, while waiting trial on sex trafficking charges in Manhattan, Epstein did not hang himself. Lawyers for Epstein did not return Business Insider's request for comment. So there we are.
So, basically, dude buys an island. We've heard this story before.
To fuck kids on, because it's away from
He gives it the idea, like, they opened it up as a home for troubled youth. Basically used it as a base of operations, child molestation / child pornography ring, where they invited people to this island to partake in the youth. I mean, that's...
By partake, you mean sexually abused.
Yes, sexually abused. I wasn't trying to sugarcoat.
I get it.
We've heard this before, and the thing is like, you know, this is one of those times. I'm gonna go ahead and say, I told you so. We've talked about this a million fucking times.
Yeah, I mean, for a long time.
My goddamn microphone. There we go.
Can you keep this rolling for about a minute?
So he gets this island. He gets his friends involved. They invite people out. A lot of it's hearsay of whether or not who was all out there, but there are known associates, and we're talking people who worked in the entertainment, politicians, other rich motherfuckers who partook in this gross shit that happened on the island.
So the topic of today, I don't know if you already gave the intro.
Yeah, no, not really.
North Fox Island, Michigan. The, let's call it Midwestern Little St. James.
Little St. James, Bohemian Grove.
He was tied to NAMBLA. He was tied to, in my opinion, Jeffrey Epstein. And just, it was a network. The same network that supposedly QAnon's taking down, but yeah, maybe we'll talk about that now or later. Or not at all.
Well, we need to talk about that because we definitely kind of, I think our positions have changed.
We did agree this week that if it is in fact true, we will shave each other's heads in a tonsure. TONSURE. Look it up.
Look it up. Because we'll have to be saying a lot of we're sorries because we've dumped a lot of fucking bad shit on Q over the last couple of months.
So sorry.
Well, the thing is, though, it's not like they haven't brought it on themselves a little bit.
Whom?
But, well, the Q people.
Yeah.
I mean, because the thing is like, with this is, I mean, it would be great. But at the same time, I've questioned, like, what are we replacing it with? And
right.
da-da-da-da.
What's the plan? You're talking about us trusting blindly with faith.
Exactly. And I'm not big on that.
No.
Not at all.
I'm a grown man. Give me the facts. Let me fucking make my own decision. How about that?
Which, I mean, I guess between this episode and the next one, I'm pretty sure by then we should
have an idea because 3 to 10 days of darkness should be in effect.
Yes.
As of this Friday.
Yeah.
The Friday before Easter.
So the next time that we do an episode, we should know.
The reason is not known amongst the Q community, but the fact that I think we've talked about it before in these episodes, that Trump is a Jesuit.
Yeah.
And he's involved in lunar magic.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
During this super pink moon that we got. But that's my own little tiff.
Well, and the thing is, like I said, I've kind of changed our opinions on the notion, because before we were kind of like, was kind of 50-50 on whether it was real or it was just a LARP.
Yeah.
But now I've moved firmly to 80-20 that it's real.
That's where I'm at. 80-20. Solid.
Because the thing is like, it's either they're just really, really good at like putting pieces together.
Faking shit.
Yeah. Or it's legit.
What got me was the post, and last summer, I think it was, they talked about jewelry and they showed pictures of like Tom Hanks, Hillary Clinton, Oprah, all these people. Everybody that you can think of in the public sphere that the normies watch and see. They all had this ring on their right hand that was an opal shape. Took up most of their finger digit there. Mm-hmm. And it was red. And recently, I want to say Tuesday of this week, last week, Tuesday or Wednesday, there was a story that came about from New York where they were like, it was a New York Times, I believe, article where they were like, well, we've got our first patient in our tent hospital.
Yeah.
And you look at the photo and it looks like something you would see in a paper, if you just glanced at it. But you look closer and there's no patient to be seen other than a hand sitting on the gurney or whatever the fuck it was. And the hand it was a right hand and it had the oval red ring. And then you look at the medical professional, he's staring intently at the person.
Yeah.
And on the face mask, it said storm backwards. And one of the things Q's always talked about, the storm is coming, storm is coming, storm is coming. And then once this fucking COVID shit started, they said the storm is here, shelter in place.
Yeah, well,
I hope you're prepared.
Yeah, so the thing that caught me, there's that. But the thing that caught me was I really started to think about the notion that, okay, if they were trying to pin them all down to make sure we know exactly where they're at, what they're doing, and to stop what they're doing, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, think about this whole, and this is globally, the whole shelter-in-place thing, right?
The entire blue marble.
Okay, and you look at the United States, where it happens all the time. You've got kids out of school, so, because then there's the theory that they can't do a school shooting as a distraction.
There can't be any distraction or terrorist attacks.
Yeah. You have the kids at home. You have basically fucking probably at least a third of the workforce at home with their kids.
Right.
So you're not going to be, I doubt child abduction is up right now.
And every single place that you would go in mass is shut down.
Yeah. And the border with Mexico has been shut down, which I've come to start to believe is some sort of Silk Road for human trafficking.
Right. Well, all the borders are shut down.
In and out of the country.
Right.
That's if it's coming in or out of the country, it's coming through Mexico.
Canada, Mexico. I'm sure every country, I think we're one of the last ones, perhaps, that has not yet laid down a flight ban.
Yeah.
But still,
So we're sheltering in place right now.
The child trafficking and the sex trafficking is probably halted to about a 0.
I mean, you could look it up. That's about all the Alphabet Boys are doing right now. Is that they're uncovering this shit, and then you get pictures from hospitals of people with fat children in bed,
Right.
hospital beds with fat bags.
Children.
Because supposedly, like I said,
They're being hidden in these deep underground military bases. And then like Utah, right?
Yeah.
Like 155 earthquakes in 7 days.
Yeah.
That's fucking bombs. They're fighting. I mean, they talked about this shit last summer where they were training their special forces to fight underground.
Yeah.
Or fight in the dark.
This war, if you believe Q, is going on as we speak.
As we speak. As we're sitting here comfortably talking, they are rescuing children from underground bases.
I feel like it went from the point of just merely moving pieces around the board. This is taking pieces off the board now.
What really fucked me up was seeing a picture on I don't know if it was a Q post, but it was a post that I saw somewhere. It was I'm sure everyone's seen the COVID virus picture.
Mm-hmm.
The roughly circle with the fucking little tree things on top of it.
Yeah.
It was a smooth circle with a checkerboard pattern and it had chess pieces on it because this is a fucking game.
Yeah. And those are the things that have kind of moved me into the realm that this is real.
Do you trust the plan?
As the universe says, there's no such thing as coincidence, and there's a lot of things going on.
Too many.
Because the thing is, it's like, think about it. The news cycle completely and utterly smoke screened with fucking COVID shit.
Right, and
you are not hearing about anything else, and you cannot tell me in the whole of world events and global events that there isn't other shit going on right now.
Lots of shit, for sure.
But this is definitely fogged up and smoked up. Visibility is low.
Right.
So
I would say by next week we will know whether if you come back next week to the Bones and Tubs on Instagram live feed and see us with tonsures, that means that we shaved each other's heads.
Yeah.
And we are very sorry
Yeah.
for talking that shit.
Yeah.
But that does not mean that we trust the plan because, like he said earlier, what are we replacing it with?
Yeah.
If it's a fucking New World Order replacing the Old World Order, I mean, the government replaced the part of the church that ran the earth before when they were fucking torturing people to convert.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that whatever's going to replace the government New World Order is going to be good.
Yeah.
I don't trust that. I don't trust your fucking plan. I don't know who you are.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if pedophiles are getting the guillotine.
No.
I could give a fuck
I
else.
totally agree that pedophiles deserve everything that is happening to them right now and probably a little bit more.
Yeah.
I just wish they took it to the local level.
But anyways, back to the story.
Back to pedophiles. Here's a news article titled Father, Teacher, Tangled Life of a Child Pornographer by Michael Sneed. For all anyone knew, he was in... God damn it.
You may read it.
You want to read it?
I got good vision.
You should read it. Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
For all anyone knew, he was a school teacher devoted to his family and community in Port Huron, Michigan. An average guy with aspirations, the fellow next door who liked kids and went to church on Sunday.
Love those kids.
The father of a young son, a man who held college degrees in youth services and electronics. The son of a policeman turned elected official, an amateur photographer who learned to use a camera by taking mugshots at the police department. What they didn't know was that he was one of the Midwest's leading child pornographers in the world, and the worst kind of pimp, a flesh profiteer who fed off the young, who filmed, processed, and sold child pornography film, who sold the sexual services of his young male models. From a cell in a Michigan prison where he is serving a 2 to 10 year sentence, not enough, for molesting a 10-year-old boy, Gerald S. Richards, 36, talked about the child pornography business, a business he likened to a nationwide spider web. And mind you, this is old.
No, it's very old. This was back in, fucking the 70s, 80s?
This shit has been going on for so fucking long. Anyway, while going to college and supporting his family in 1968, Richard started working in one of the first porno shops to open in Port Huron. I had no reason to get into the business, he said. I was curious and needed the money. He planned to get out when his son was a year old, but was hooked. I was making good money on the side, reselling porno prints I got at the store, he explained. So, armed with shop contacts with pornography publishers, distributors, and customers, Richards left the store and set up his own mail order business. His life became a maze of forwarding addresses for his mail order pornographic picture operation. His home and downtown office...
It's kind of blurry, for real.
Yeah. His pornography mails and his contacts grew nationwide. His young porno brigade included 20 boy models. He said, I led 2 lives. My family thought I was teaching physical education in a parochial school. I was, but it took very little of my time. My Cadillac was my only sign of wealth. I put a lot of money into better photo equipment. I was careful. They never knew. Richard was married, but he also became homosexually involved with one of his male models, a 12-year-old boy, who was his babysitter, next-door neighbor. I fucked that up. A 12-year-old boy who was his babysitter, next-door neighbor, assistant in his professional magic act, and his solicitor for other young boy models. So he had convinced one of his victims to basically, be a honeypot for him.
Well, he had, from the podcast that we listened to, shout out Crime Junkies.
Yes. It was a very good 2-part episode.
This motherfucker had either convinced that person or had convinced himself that he was in love and they were in love. Like a predator would.
Yeah, he manipulated him.
Beat his legs with a leaden pipe and leave him to die with trauma, I would say.
He took care of things and nobody ever squealed. It was procedure to keep a blackmail photo file of each boy to avoid any squealing. But I eventually threw his away. He was a genius. Recruiting children was not difficult. It's the easiest thing in the world to get a kid, Richard said. What you want in a kid is no moral, religious background, and you have got it made. A kid whose father is absent or doesn't care about him. They don't have a chance. They are brainwashed and left sexually confused. They can end up like the men who entice them. Behind it all, Richard said, is the BL movement, which stands for Boy
Love. Nambla, son.
Promoters of the BL syndrome publish magazines and newsletters which contain their philosophy and carefully coded classified ads. It is through these ads that subscribers make their contacts for films, pictures, and sex with others who feel the same way about the sexual use of children, he related. Richard subscribed to the BL magazine and advertised in them to build up his boy-hungry clientele. Jesus Christ. His magic set was also coded in BL ads. He found his business partner through an ad in California magazine called The Better Life Monthly. That was the name of the magazine I was talking about, Better Life Monthly. It was a secret pedophile
AKA
magazine.
Boy Love.
Yeah, America's #1 boy love journal. I screened his mail for 4 months. Subscribers are screened through an intricate process. You check the grade of paper, typewriter keys, number of letters, weighting, sincerity, and insistence. Of course, you keep the letters as a security measure. With the help of his partner, he incorporated as a tax-exempt front known as Brother Paul's Children's Mission. Richards was brother Paul. His partner is being sought on a fugitive warrant by the Michigan State Police. Several times, and that was Selden. Yeah, that's who they're talking about there.
Right.
Several times, Richard made trips to Chicago with his partner, where contacts for boys were made with porno shop proprietors.
Boys.
He said the names would be furnished either by a porno shop guy or through a hotel clerk. He eventually was arrested for molesting one of his models, a model who was in demand because he was very young. He was only 8 years old when he was tested on a camping trip to see if he fit into the operation. It was a bad scene, Richard said. I was teetering between wrong and right, but the money was too good. I couldn't stop. I couldn't put that rubber stamp down when I'd see it, all the mail coming in, and thoughts of the money. He refuses, however, to estimate just how much money he made from his pornographic career. Sometimes I would even use self-hypnosis to figure out ways to make money, he recalled. Richards was arrested on July 23, 1975, and pleaded guilty. I was guilty. I feel like I had murdered my own son. He has voluntarily turned over his files and is scheduled to appear before the Michigan State Assembly to prevent other kids being trapped in this business. Summing up the results of the porno business career, Richards sighed, "My wife is now divorcing me. My son is being deprived of a father. My father's public career is ruined, and my assistant probably will be a homosexual."
Fucking kill yourself.
Yeah.
How about that? How about fucking go to jail and wait until the CEO walks by on his 28-minute range check and then kill yourself?
Yeah.
Immediately after he walks by your cell.
Exactly.
God damn, looking like a double wide surprise.
Yeah.
So, there are further notes here in this fat stack if you're on the Instagram. What are we at on time? There are some stories that go along with North Fox Island that lead into entire documentaries about the Oakland child murders. Now, we have some stories in here, and I will add links in the description, let's say, of the podcast or the YouTube video for further research of the family members that wrote blogs or created websites. Mm-hmm. So if you're interested in those things, check those out. The police in those areas are still supposedly active in this goddamn investigation, even though the ones that were involved in the investigation in the first place were corrupt and involved in it in the first place, so they just let it die. But if you have any information involved in what happened to these children, you should probably come forward with it.
Yeah.
Because fuck a child murderer and fuck a child rapist.
Yeah.
Anyway, between February 15th, 1976 and March 16th, 1977, 2 boys and 2 girls aged 10 and 12 years old went missing outside their homes en route to or from another location in Oakland County, Michigan. Each child's body was discovered in the public area within 19 days of his or her disappearance. The children were all either strangled or shot. With the 2 boys having been sexually abused, the 4 deaths triggered a murder investigation, which at the time was the largest in U.S. history. With Detroit's 2 daily newspapers, as well as the area's numerous radio and television stations covering the case, a presentation of WXYT Radio entitled Winter's Fear, The Children, the Killer, The Search, won the Peabody Award in 1977. Mark Stebbins, 12, of Ferndale, did not return home from an American Legion Hall on February 15, 1976. His body was found 4 days later wearing the same clothes he was last seen in, lying in a snowbank in the parking lot of a local office building. He had been strangled and sexually abused with a foreign object. Had 2 lacerations to the left rear of his head. Rope marks were evident on both of his wrists and ankles, indicating that he had been bound during his captivity. And then we move on. Before her body was found along Interstate 75 in Troy, within view of Troy Police Station, on the morning of December 26th, she had been shot. I love how it just fucking prints and leaves out. We don't have the name.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Unprofessional. Second victim, unnamed. Hopefully it names it within this. Before her body was found alongside Interstate 75 in Troy, within view of Troy Police Station, on the morning of December 26th, she had been shot in the face with a 12-gauge shotgun, and her body was fully clothed and wearing a backpack that she had taken with her when she left home. One of the things that I found super disturbing by listening to that podcast from Crime Junkies was that they had all been fed.
Yeah.
They had been kept, and they had been washed.
Yeah.
Before their fucking murder.
Before they were killed. Basically they were making sure they were getting rid of all the evidence they might have been able to find.
And just keeping them alive as a fuck puppet.
Yeah. And then there was the part that fucked me up was the one kid's parents went on the news and were like, "We just want you to treat him like he's yours and please bring him back to us." And
begging, what they say his favorite food.
They said when he gets home, we're gonna give him his favorite meal of Kentucky Fried Chicken. And then when they found him and they did an autopsy, they found that he had fried chicken in his stomach.
Listen, I know we have people that listen to Michigan, and I hope some of you know something that will help one of these motherfuckers get strung up.
They're probably already either dead or in prison, or hopefully.
A girl can dream.
Yeah, you could dream about it, but man,
fucking bloody, painful death.
Fuck these dudes to death, man.
Death's not good enough for you, motherfucker. On to the next one. Kristen Mihalek. Kristen Mihalek, 10 years old, of Berkeley, was reported missing on January 2nd, 1977, after she failed to return home from a 7-Eleven store in Oakshire. A mail courier found her clothed body 19 days later on the side of the rural road of Franklin Village. She had been smothered to death less than 24 hours earlier, and her body lay within view of nearby homes. Timothy King, age 11, left his home in Birmingham and went to a drugstore on the evening of March 16th, 1977. After he failed to return home, an intensive search covering the entire Detroit metropolitan area was conducted before his body was found on the evening of March 22nd by 2 teenagers in a shallow ditch alongside Gill Road in Livonia. He had been sexually assaulted with a foreign object and suffocated approximately 6 hours earlier. Jesus fucking wept.
Yeah.
There were other abductions and murders around the Oakland area within the same period. These are not specifically tied to the 4 victims above due to variations in the cases. Cynthia Caudill, 16, of Roseville, was found bludgeoned to death on January 16, 1976 in Bloomfield Township. Jane Allen, 14, was found dead in a river in Miamisburg, Ohio on August 11, 1976, 4 days after she accepted a ride from a hitchhiking in Royal Oak. She had died from carbon monoxide poisoning. Sheila Schrock, 14, was raped and shot dead while babysitting in Birmingham on January 20th, 1976. Her killer, Oliver Rhodes Andrews, had burglarized several homes in the neighborhood earlier in that evening, and a neighbor witnessed while shoveling snow on his roof. Andrews was sentenced to life imprisonment. That was disproved, according to Wikipedia. Possible victim. Kimberly Alice King, 12, disappeared from Warren on September 15, 1979. Authorities believe she was abducted and that her disappearance is connected to the unsolved killings.
Now, the thing is, between these child killings and the Fox Island, basically what it breaks down to is that we know for a fact that the individuals that ran Fox Island had dealings with individuals who probably committed these murders as well.
Right. Cover up evidence. Or to just kill because they're fucking savages.
If you're asking me, I would believe that this happens a lot more than we know about. But the thing is, this is one of those instances where they got sloppy. And we got to kind of get a glimpse into this world that they have for themselves. The secret network that they've created for this shit. I mean, that's what I draw from this anyways.
I would agree.
Yeah.
After the discovery of Kristen Mihalek's body, authorities noticed similarities shared by her case and those of Mark Stebbins and Joe Robinson, and reports were released warning the public that a serial killer was possibly operating in Oakland County area. And they said that Oakland County was like a highfalutin area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was a very nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
Completely out of the way in the realm of possibility of these things
and
happening.
it makes one wonder, that could be why we know about this.
Right.
Because they shit too close to where they eat.
It also
they eat too close to where they shit.
It played too much into their hand that in some of these investigations they weren't even official, but they were witnesses that were approached by officials, people in police departments, people on the prosecuting team, and they were like, there are a lot of sick motherfuckers that live here. Yeah. You need to continue what you're doing, but you need to watch your back. And that's why, when it came down to it, eventually, it all stalled out. Yeah. The dude was able to escape.
Imagine, if you will, it seems like if you go back to that article I read, the smart ones tend to pick on the marginalized.
Right.
And the vulnerable.
The unassuming.
Because, I mean, that's what makes them vulnerable in the first place. They're not rich.
Right.
They lack, a normal family unit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They prey on those things. And then there was talk in the podcast that there's a possibility, they didn't understand how these kids could get abducted in the middle of the day or in broad daylight without nobody noticing.
Cops.
But, that's what they're saying, is that they're posing as police officers.
Well, or they were police officers.
That's
they were
more than possible too.
There were a lot of people that were tenant to this island, North Fox Island, that were politicians, police officers, high-ranking officials, people that, like, these kids were taken to this island on the pretense of the fact that they were troubled in some way, shape, or form because this motherfucker was a school teacher or they went to other schools where they had troubled children. And when they got there, they were like, oh, okay, cool, we're going to get this program, we're going to get fixed, we're going to get help, we're going to figure out what's wrong with us. Yeah. There was no structure, there was no programming.
No.
It was an island where these kids were allowed to go by themselves and just fuck around for a while. And then when it was picture time, it was time for these kids to get fucking child porned up.
These dudes got government subsidies to do this too.
Right. And there were politicians, local and probably state, and who the fuck knows, maybe even higher, because I have no doubt in my fucking mind that he was involved with Epstein and all these other motherfuckers. He was involved with NAMBLA, North American Man-Boy Love Association, NAMBLA.org, look it up.
Well, they have a
it's a tight ring.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, and imagine that's during a time when, you really only could keep contact through correspondence and shit like that.
Right.
Like now, with the dark web, it's become super sophisticated.
Yeah. Hard to track.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and the thing is, it's like, and they could be more secretive. Like, they don't, and that's why, like, people come off as crazy because they're like, fucking, was it Comet Pizza or?
Yeah, Comet Pizza.
Yeah.
Comet Ping
Pong. And shit like that where.
They have their own private network with child porn.
By the time we get to it, it's already gone.
Right.
Like, they're that smart about it now.
Yeah. Finish this up. A few weeks after the death of Timothy King, a psychiatrist who worked for the task force received a letter riddled with spelling errors written by an anonymous author, air quotes, Alan, claiming to be a sadomasochist slave of Frank, V-O-C-C-K. Alan wrote that they had both served in the Vietnam War and that Frank was traumatized by having killed children, and they had taken revenge on more affluent citizens, such as the residents of Birmingham, wanting rich people to suffer for sending forces to Vietnam. Air quotes, Alan expressed fear and remorse in his letter, saying he was losing his sanity and he was endangered and suicidal, and admitted to having accompanied Frank on the latter as the latter sought boys to kill. Air quotes, Alan instructed the psychiatrist to respond by printing the code words, Weather Bureau says trees to bloom in 3 weeks. In the Sunday's free, again, failed printing. The psychiatrist arranged to meet Alan at a bar, but Alan did not show up and he was never heard from again. Archibald Edward Sloan, the child molester who victimized young boys in the neighborhood, became a person of interest after his hair samples were found in 1966 in Pontiac, Bonneville. Hair matched on the bodies of Timothy King and Mark Stebbins, but the hair was not from Sloan himself. A witness claimed to have seen Timothy King being abducted by two men, one described as being in his late 20s, the other described as bearing a strong resemblance to John Wayne Gacy, who was allegedly in Michigan around the time of the killings. Gacy's DNA did not match the DNA found at the victims' bodies. Police in Parma Heights, Ohio arrested Ted Laborgine, a retired auto worker believed to have been involved in a child porn ring in the 1970s. On March 27, 2007, investigators told Detroit television station WXYZ that Lamborghini was considered a top suspect in the case. Lamborghini pleaded guilty to 15 sex-related counts involving young boys rather than accept a plea bargain that would have required him to take a polygraph test on the Oakland County child killings. Lamborghini was also rejected an offer of a reduced sentence in exchange for a polygraph on the case. In October 2007, the family of Mark Stebbins filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Lamborghini seeking $25,000. The lawsuit alleges that Lamborghini, who lived in Metro Detroit in the late 1970s, abducted Mark and held him captive in the Royal Oak House for 4 days in February 1976 before smothering him to death during a sexual assault. Lamborghini has never been formally linked nor charged with the death of Mark Stebbins. Attorney David A. Blinkley has sought compensation, including funeral costs for Stebbins' brother, Michael, but stressed that money is secondary. You take over here, and I'll be right back.
Yeah. The case sparked new interest when Timmy King's father, Barry, and brother Chris tried to get the Michigan State Police to release information about Chris Bush, the son of Harold Lee Bush, a high-level General Motors executive. Chris Bush had been in police custody shortly before Timmy's abduction for suspected involvement in child pornography. He allegedly committed suicide in November 1978. There was no gunshot residue found on him, though, and no blood splatter whatsoever. Furthermore, there were 4 shell casings found in his room. He was also found wrapped neatly under his sheets. He was also found wrapped neatly under his sheets. There was 1 bullet hole between his eyes, no blood, and bloodstained ligatures were found in his apartment, as was a hand-drawn image of a boy closely resembling Mark Stebbins, screaming in agony, which was found pinned to the wall in which Bush allegedly committed suicide. There had been no confirmed activity by the Oakland County child killer for nearly 20 months prior to Bush's death. The Michigan State Police have since released 3,400 pages of investigative records to bury King.
All right. So, we laid out a basic framework for this story.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not happy.
No.
It's linked to Jeffrey Epstein, who didn't kill himself, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The last story that I will speed through real quick is titled May 11th Report, New Person Identified in Oakland County Child Killer Case. Detroit, with the help of DNA technology. There has been a physical match in the Oakland County child killer case, providing a new suspect never before named. From February 1976 to March 1977, a serial killer was abducting and holding 4 young children against their will for several days before killing them, and then cleaning the bodies and clothes and placing them on display throughout the Metro Detroit area. For 35 years, it has been an unsolved mystery with a lot of speculation but no physical evidence. There is new hope for solving the murders of Mark Stebbins, Kristen Milheck, Joe Robinson, and Timothy King. There are 4 blockbuster new pieces of evidence. White animal hair connects all 4 cases. A DNA match from new hairs discovered on one of the victims leads to the new suspect. Police find a startling drawing at a suspect's home. And a police report surfaces from the 1970s that sent investigators looking around a northern Michigan cottage Tuesday afternoon. The white animal hair, believed to be from a dog found on all 4 victims, it tells investigators that the murders are definitely connected. 1 hair was found on the body of the 11-year-old King. However, it never has been revealed before that 3 additional hairs were found on Milheck, including 2 on her blouse. The 10-year-old girl was taken from the streets in Berkeley, January 2nd, 1977. Her dead body was found 19 days later, still wearing the same clothes she disappeared in. Investigators believe hair fragments may belong to the person who dumped her body. We never knew it, said Milheck's sister, Erica Ashcroft McAvoy. When asked if her family ever knew there was hair found on her body, Ashcroft McAvoy was shocked to find out about the hairs. She then was floored to find out that, according to police files obtained for the first time, police had been able to make a DNA match in the Oakland County child killer case. The hair found on Milheck's blouse is mitochondrial DNA match with a man living in Kalamazoo. But because of the quality of the hair, a perfect DNA match is impossible. A mitochondrial match narrows the hair to a 1% to the Caucasian population, which is probably... Never mind. Police reports say that this is the first physical evidence of a match in Oakland County child killer case history. I think that there is a mountain of evidence that, in fact, will never divulge to us, even as family, said Ashcroft McAvoy. According to police reports obtained by defenders, police think that the hair belongs to 49-year-old James Vincent Gunnels. Gunnels was in police custody until just 1 month ago, living in a halfway house in Kalamazoo. He has a long history of property crimes, but he has never been charged in any sexual crimes, or a sexual crimes case, I should say. Victims' families were recently told Gunnels would stay in prison for decades unless he cooperated with the Oakland County child killer case. But tonight, Gunnels is a free man. Police saying that they do not have enough evidence to hold him or charge him. Law enforcement needs to make a deal with him, extend the olive branch, and get him into a witness program, or put him someplace. But they have put the pressure on him to make him talk. He knows more, said Ashcroft McAvoy. Police took a DNA swab of Gunnels and gave him a lie detector test while he was in prison. Police say that he intentionally held his breath to try and cause the lie detector test to be inconclusive, which I did for a job once. While talking to his sister from prison on a recorded phone line about the Oakland County child killer case, Gunnels' sister said, they have your DNA on one of the victims, Gunnels. His response was, I wasn't there when it happened.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, like, there's a lot of themes that continue to pop up. One being, it wasn't one person acting alone.
It was a group.
It was a group. And the other thing that stands out is damn it, I lost the train of thought. Okay, basically, what I was getting at was, it was a group of people. It wasn't one individual.
Right.
You know, it was just kind of weird. Like, you got to wonder, like, how you go about finding other people that think like that.
One of these people involved, and this is where I will cast shade on NAMBLA. Everybody jokes. A lot of people don't know. If you're listening, you might not know what NAMBLA is. It's NAMBLA.org. Check it out.
North American Man Boy Love Association.
It sounds like a joke, but it's not a joke. They put it in a South Park episode. It sounded funny. It's not a joke. They're real. And they have articles about justifying their fucking pedophilia.
I will say that episode's fucking hilarious.
It is fantastic.
Yeah.
But one of these people, at least one of these people that I found, like looking through this shit on the various documentaries. That's not my phone.
Oh.
He was a video editor. Mm-hmm. And his services were rendered after he had been vetted through NAMBLA. Because the reason why we know that is because he was an undercover agent.
Yeah. And the other thing, I remember what I was going to say now. The other thing that strikes me is the continuation of police just kind of shrugging their shoulders at this shit, like, ooh.
Due to laziness, fucking the fact that they couldn't shoot a dog.
Not enough evidence, but then it makes you wonder, like, if you know enough about law enforcement, or just in the law enforcement community, there is certain rules that you have to abide by, right? And, you know, because, like, someone could give you, and I'm not making this up, you might feel a certain way about something, like something you know is wrong, and you're going to pursue it, and you're going to try to stop it, or you're going to do something about it.
Right.
And you get this tap.
Stop.
Yeah. You get a tap from someone higher up, or someone on the same level as you, but they're working with somebody else, and they're like, that's enough. Because and it's like, what
can I steal one of those?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It makes you wonder how far they go with this shit. If a cop's like, because, like, you know, you look at that thing. I think you were gone when I talked about it, but with Chris Bush, they found him dead, and they called it a suicide, but the dude motherfucker getting shot between the eyes.
I fully believe that they had higher level people in the police departments in the area, and definitely within the political ring involved in this shit.
And he had no gunshot residue on him. So you think somebody's going to shoot themselves, they're going to have gunshot residue on them.
Sounds good.
It's just like, you know, it goes back to that notion.
He shot himself.
That, and there was a picture taped to his wall of a young boy getting tortured, screaming in agony, that looked like one of the victims. And it makes one kind of feel like that's what they call in the business an orgy of evidence. And those don't happen.
Too much.
They never happen.
No, they don't. I hope to fucking God, and this is probably one of the only times you hear this until I have to have you shave my head into a tonsure, that this QAnon shit is true. Because I know in my heart that these motherfuckers in Hollywood, and there's just a ring all the way up. Everybody that we see in all these businesses, they're all fucking child rapists. Yeah. And they all fucking torture these children for this adrenochrome, this drug that they're hip to. If you're not hip to adrenochrome, check out our episode, or maybe even Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. That's the only movie I've ever seen it featured in.
Yeah. Well, I'm here to tell you now, if I do have to shave a tonsure, if this all happens, we're going to wait till after my wedding to do it. Because I don't want to, you know, I'm going to feel my shame, but I'm going to wait till after the wedding so that my wedding pictures for the rest of my life don't have me And you, mind you, with fucking
You say that now, but
giant baloney patches on the top of our heads.
having to suck a fucking 357 Magnum in the street and admit his crimes, you might just wear a tonsure at your wedding.
And it makes you wonder, like, you know, for years they've been getting away with this by killing people, silencing them, doing all the things that they do. And I kind of hope that they're in a corner.
Hashtag Pedowood. Hashtag QAnon. Hashtag where we go on, we go all.
There's nowhere to go. They're done. I want to.
Where's Hillary been? We talked about that the other day.
I want to believe this so bad.
Right. It's the only thing that makes sense that would make a reasonable person hope. Yeah. Because fuck a child molester. Mm-hmm. Fuck somebody that hurts children in general.
When you've seen the things that we've seen, and when you start looking in the research, I think the most disturbing part is you realize that it's true that there is secret child molester rings, and they're being run and orchestrated by the most powerful in our society. I think we've known this for a long time. We knew this before there was Q.
We actually got rid of our old musician.
Yeah.
Because of this shit.
We
didn't agree with us.
We've been railing about this a long time, since before Q and all that stuff. So imagine, like, how much I want this to be true. Because, I mean, granted, I will question the whole Q thing all the way to the end, because it's like, what are we replacing with? But at the same time, I want to believe that you guys aren't, it's not two groups of fucking child molesters fighting. Yeah. That's not just two groups of child molesters fighting each other. Like, that one's child molesters and the other one are, you know, whatever they might be into some freaky shit too, but at least they're not molesting children.
We're tired of you raping all these kids. We just want to kill them.
Like, you find out, like, they're pony fuckers. You're like,
right. What if they were
I'll take it for now.
What if they were all dog-faced pony soldiers?
Yeah. Right?
You know, shout out Joe Biden, his dementia, child molesting, pedophile ass.
Jesus. How that man is the front runner for the Democratic Party, I'll never fucking know, man.
Trust the plan.
Jesus Christ. Was there anything else we wanted to talk about?
I don't think so, other than the fact that we wanted to shout out Blood of the Brave. Shout out all of our socials, Instagram.com/Bones and Tubs, Facebook, I guess, and Twitter at Bones Tubs.
You could also hit us up on the email.
bonesandtubs@gmail.com.
We've gotten a couple emails in the three or four emails in this last week from people across the world.
Don't leave your
across
apartment.
the country.
You'll get to your
just kind of giving us a rundown of what's going on where they're from.
Right.
And I would encourage you guys to continue to do that, because I like to hear from you guys. If you would like to give us your phone number so that if things do go dark, you need someone to talk to.
Right. If the darkness is true, send us your number. I will add you to my phone.
Yeah. Because, and like I said, continue to talk and communicate with us, because it's more important now than ever. It's always been important, but it is very important. You good? Go through it over there. It's been a while.
Yeah. I made it that far.
Good job. But it's more important now than ever that we stay in contact, because we care about you guys, and we know you love, you care about us.
We love you deeply.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
You know, with all this going on and the quarantine and everything, I'm sure people, you know, just trying to hang on. And the thing I would say right now, the best thing you could do for yourself, you know, with a lot of this time at home and stuff like that, do that deep work. You know? Instead of, you know, I know Netflix is alluring, and so is Tiger King, and, you know, video games and all that stuff. But as much time as we have now not being able to, you know, go out and do things and go to movies and restaurants and whatnot, and congregate with other humans, spend this time doing the good work for yourself.
Look inside. I can't talk.
Yeah. Meditate. You know, pick up a really good book. You know,
learn some. I can't even talk.
Yeah.
God damn it. Learn some skills that might help you if society collapses.
Exactly. Those are the things that you should be doing right now. And it's going to help keep everybody mentally stable, I believe, if you do that.
The one thing that I heard from the doctor that talked about 5G or technology causing viruses to be put out of our bodies, he said the only way to be human nowadays, and this was from another doctor that wrote this in the 1700s, and, you know, what fucking tech did they have back then?
Yeah.
But he's like, you know, with this new age of technology, every wave of new energetic use is going to affect how we are human.
Yeah.
He said that with every increasing wave of energetic use, the only way to remain human is to increase your spiritual capacity.
Yep. Do the deep work.
Yeah. Go deep.
You know. So we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We hope to see you next time. We hope between now and then you guys stay safe. And, you know, if this Q stuff is real, and it's, you know, a lot of people seem to be pinning it on this weekend, just stay safe.
We'll see you after the lights come back on, or send us your numbers and we'll text you in one way, shape, or form. We love you.
We really do.
I ain't here to talk shop, I'm here to talk cops who crooked and corrupt, who need to be stopped, who aren't afraid to aim, squeeze and release round after round until they put them in sheets. I said any and everywhere they're hitting it, well aware of what they're doing, and no, they don't care. Everything's illegal and nobody's free, we're all tapped to track. Yeah, you and me hardwired to tune. They watch in the back room with their cameras on zoom, laughing at me and you. Yeah, go ahead and think it ain't. A police stay for real, cause the cops got tanks. I got hounds to call out, around to the used, but that ain't a problem until they used on you. I said one false move, you'll be up on the news in the morning and evening, footage of your family weeping. Man down, yeah, they do what they want, and they rule by force and they're out on the hunt. Man down, they put another in the ground. I got tanks and troops headed to your town. Man down, it ain't a game, it's a shame. That's why I don't play, cause they run the game. Man down, yeah, they do what they want, and they rule by force and they're out on the hunt. They say that's the way it is, but it's sick cause the kids deserve more than to live in the world like this. I'm pissed, I'm phased in the rage, and hop from the flash and the bang grenades. I'm burning alive, cause I'm burning inside. I'm a man on fire, cause another man died. I'm appalled, let's just list them all. I'm sure I'll miss a few, and a few will applaud. They punch kids, shot kids, taste pregnant ladies, taking babies to land, and put cuffs on the hands of veterans. It choked a peacemaker, he broke up a fight and then died a little later. They shot men in the back who went under attack and were caught on film, and they lied about the facts. They protect each other, they're owning the throne, so don't be shocked at all when they're breaking your home. Man down, yeah, they do what they want, and they rule by force and they're out on the hunt. Man down, they put another in the ground. I got tanks and troops headed to your town. Man down, it ain't a game, it's a shame. That's why I don't play, cause they run the game. Man down, yeah, they do what they want, and they rule by force and they're out on the hunt. It'll get real in a matter of minutes. Gone without a sentence, no trial, no witness. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. It'll get real in a matter of minutes. Gone without a sentence, no trial, no witness. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you.